Hey, Heroclixers, this is Shay McClure with Heroclix Borderlands podcast. I'm bringing you a new venture from Heroclix Borderlands. Yes, we are producing now a video series on YouTube. I'm hoping to be able to commit to doing at least 2 of these a month. And what they are is we're going to call it Lost in CLIX. Now, what does Lost in CLIX mean? It means those figures that are kind of lost. You can't find them. They're kind of lost back in your tackle box. You don't pull them out that often, but they're still viable or they're still good for a certain reason. We're going to be looking for those kind of hidden gems. Also, going to look for hidden strategies, some cool synergy combos that people aren't using right now that might be fun at your casual venue and could work its way into the meta. Finally, Lost in CLIX will also look to highlight any underutilized power or Heroclix concept currently out there, and maybe bring some light to how it could be used in the future. Now, that's a high ambition for us to try and do, and when I say us, I really just mean it's me here trying to knock these things out. So I'm always looking for suggestions and comments and ideas on how to improve this, or people to kind of help with this new venture. Now, this is our Lost in CLIX series, and the first one we're going to choose is I had to go steal an idea that's currently the rage out there on YouTube, and that is, what are the top 3 support pieces? Now, if you look, I did go with top 3 support pieces, and I chose the top 3 support powers, which are probability control, perplex, and outwit. Now, I had to be different. Everybody's getting all the good stuff, so I went with which ones are done on the cheap, meaning clickers with a budget. People who don't have a lot to spend, you still want a modern piece that's going to be effective and can be used at your venue and give you a lot of good play. And I kept it under $2.50. Yes, from Troll and Toad, I looked up the prices, and none of these figures that I'm getting ready to go over, the 3 figures I'm getting ready to go over, are not over $2.50. Actually, 2 of them aren't even over $1, and one's not even over 50 cents. So you have a lot of cheap options to get figures that will actually help your team. So without further ado, let's move on. The first figure before I look at any figures, let's look at the criteria. Let's go over my criteria for what made this list. Okay, it should be less than 60 points. My thought process here is that any piece over 60 points will actually hurt your team in that it has to take on the role of more of an attacker at times. So I wanted to keep it below 60 points, leaving you over 245 points to kind of build a team around that can produce the damage. This figure doesn't have to be attacker. What it's going to do is help pump up those other attackers into doing something. Now, they should have one of these following powers. Perplex, Outwit, or Probability Control, or POP as Alpha Strike likes to call it, the POP of Heroclix. So they need to bring one of those to your team. Also, they need to bring more than just that power to the team. Sometimes it's not enough. You are spending 50 points, and I wanted to differentiate these from these one-shot characters who actually only bring 1 power. So I don't want a 15-point piece. I don't want a 20-point piece. I want a piece that's going to give me something and be able to give me some variety and some flexibility in my build. And finally, as you know, they have to cost less than $2.50 on Troll and Toad. That was the goal, and this is what I came up with. So let's check them out. First figure we're going to come up to is the one that's going to actually bring us probability control. And that's the Wizard from World's Finest 030. His cost on Troll and Toad is 49 cents. Yes, 49 cents. Now, what makes him so great? Well, number one, he starts out with a 6 range and probability control. So he automatically brings probability control to your team. But if you look at his die, you go, what? Shay, he's only 5 clicks deep. How is he really going to help me? Well, let's look at his trait. Well, not his trait, but his special power that's over his first 3 clicks. His special power is illusions hide your true surroundings. When the wizard is occupying hindering terrain or adjacent to blocking terrain, the wizard can't be targeted by non-adjacent opposing characters. Boom! He becomes a wall. He cannot be targeted for outwit. He can't be targeted by ranged characters. Doesn't matter if they can see through hindering. They would have to be able to see through characters. So he knocks out a lot of figures that would be able to target a normal stealth figure. Now, you have to be adjacent. If you're not adjacent, then he is pretty much a moving wall. He puts up a wall in front of you that can't be destroyed from range. Now, is that important? Yes, you can carry him around. And if you carry him around, automatically you're blocking lines of fire, as long as you set him on the hindering terrain or beside blocking terrain. Now, his other thing that makes him good is his trait. His trait, which says that he can use shape change, and when he succeeds, so he has a rollout when you do send somebody up there adjacent to him to try and kill him, and if he rolls out, then you place him within 4 squares of where he was, and you place a Tiger Bystander token. If we look at our Tiger Bystander token, it is a 8 movement with charge, 10 attack with Blaze Claw's Fangs, 16 defense with toughness, and a 1 damage. So you're not automatically putting a threat in his place without an action token, and he's still safe. That's pretty incredible in my viewpoint. And if you really want to, you can push him onto his second click where he'll give you Outwit. But if you don't even want to do that, his 6 range makes him a viable attacker in that he has a 10 attack with prob and 3 damage. So he can do some stuff and might be a sneak attacker on some other teams as they're trying to ignore him or trying to go around him. So you might have to be careful with him, but he also brings some great generic keywords to the table in Mystical and Pass. So he can fit on a Mystical team, and he can fit on a Pass team. So both are very good currently in our current game. So you want to look at him. I think he's an excellent, cheap probability guy for 50 points. Now, moving on, we're going to look at Perplex. And who do I get for Perplex but Green Oracle from the Elseworlds 034. Her cost currently on Troll and Toll, and she is the most expensive at $2.49. Now, if we look at her, some great things about her. High movement ability. She can carry 8 characters. She has the Justice League team ability. So when she does move with those 8 characters, actually she's only going to be subtracted down by 2 instead of 3 because she gets to add 1. No, I'm sorry. As long as she only carries 3 characters, she'll only be subtracted by 2. So, and she has some high movement. She also starts with Perplex. High defense with energy shield deflection. 7 range. That's awesome. And she has a great trait. Some people go, a great trait? What are you talking about? Well, she has this trait where you may give a free action to a friendly character named Oracle. I'm sorry, if this character is on your sideline, it's from alternate Earth, you may give a free action to a friendly character named Oracle, Batgirl, or Green Lantern that's equal or more points. Place that character with this character on the same clip. You're going, well, why would I want to do that? Because for 5 more points, because she comes in, 10 more points, she comes in at 50 points. For 10 more points, you can give her a shifting focus piece. You can put her on your sideline and start Green Lantern from Elseworlds 017. Now, what does that 10-point investment get you? Well, what it gets you is a running shot, 7 range. He can only carry 1 person, but he gets 10 attack. He gets Pulse Wave and TK. And at any time, you can switch him out and pull in her. And he is so cheap because at the beginning of the game, he has 8 battery tokens on this card. When Green Lantern attacks, remove a battery token. When there are no battery tokens on this card, Green Lantern can't make range attack or use powers or abilities. So at your local venue, you can run him around until you run him out of options, since he's so cheap, and then replace him with Green Oracle. Now, their dials aren't perfect in that he's got 6 clicks, she's got 4, but if you're playing him, what an easy option on the sideline as another piece that you can bring in. And here's another great part. You can use him to TK, bring her in to carry, push her to next turn, push her to get to her Outwit. So she can bring a lot of great things to the table and gives you an option to be a little bit more variety if you move her up 10 points. So I say look at her, and if you look at Green Lantern on Elseworlds, he's only going to cost you another 50 cents. I think that's a great Perplex piece. She's cheap. I say go out and try her. Final piece we're going to look at is Outwit. And who did I choose but none other than Lex Luthor, Fast Forces World's Finest 006. His current cost on Troll and Toad is 79 cents. Now, what makes him so great? He's only 4 clicks, but he starts with Stealth. He has the PD team ability, and he has 2 special powers. Number 1, on his defensive power, he can use Mastermind as if he's 150 points. So you can make it kind of hard to kill him. He can send his damage to other figures that are around him. And then his damage power, which I think makes him excellent, which is, I've got files on everyone. Lex Luthor can use leadership as if he is 150 points in outwit. When he sees using leadership, friendly characters within 8 squares can use sidestep and modify their attack values by +1 this turn. Wow, he brings a lot. Not only does he bring outwit, he brings leadership. So he can give you that extra action. I have been noticing that extra action is often very much needed. And when you do succeed on leadership, if he's beside a character, since he's 150 points, as long as they're less than 150 points, then he can remove a token from it, whether or not he shares a keyword. So he can be carried around by Superman. And as long as it's the less than 150, I'm thinking of Flying Batman, he can remove that token from Flying Batman and allow him to continue on. But even better, if he does succeed on leadership, which is a 5 or a 6, he allows everybody around him within 8 squares that are friendly to get sidestep and +1 to attack values. So he really brings some extra stuff when he hits on leadership. And just to do even further damage, he has the PD team ability. With his PD team ability, he's able to, as long as you're within line of fire, as long as he can see you basically, he can reduce your defense by -1 if the character adjacent to him is making a range attack, and you're going to keep people adjacent to him. Now, I mentioned the Flying Batman. This one doesn't work as great with Flying Batman because he has hypersonic, but it's just one of the options you can get. Now, he also has pretty good keywords in the fact that he gets celebrity, metropolis, politician, and ruler, which allows him to get a theme team with Superman. So at 50 points, he comes in. He's going to bring something to your team. He's got some wild options. I think he's an excellent, cheap outwitter that's going to bring more than you think to your team. Now, I hope you liked this video, and thanks for watching. Please leave your thoughts, questions, and feedback in the comments below. I try to be different. I try to give you some different options than what you're hearing out there on YouTube. But I love to hear what you all think, and what are your 3 cheap support pieces. I would also love to see videos from Games Rule, that's Matt, Netflix and Chill, and Heroclix Brazil, who we get a lot of great free previews from. I love to see what their takes on support pieces and even cheap support pieces that maybe I have missed. I want to say special thanks to Matt from Games Rule for designing my new logo, and I want to remind everybody, please keep playing Heroclix, and remember, as long as you keep rolling double 6s, you never mix. I'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.